What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a recent podcast that I watched. It was Doug Gottlieb, right? And Doug Gottlieb basically was talking about LeBron James wanting to he wants a NBA team. Like when he retired, he wants to own a team. And not only did he speak on LeBron James wanting an NBA team, but he also spoke on like LeBron James like his loyalty, like LeBron James loyalty and how it's obvious that LeBron James is really he basically he's selfish and he really only care about LeBron, right? And now that's true, for a lot of people, not just LeBron James, but it's just true for a lot of people. But wh- when people are selfish and they are they only for their self, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Because everybody, a lot, most people want to be able to advance and they want to grow. So there's nothing wrong with LeBron James wanting to own an NBA team. Nothing wrong with LeBron James having some ambition, right? But the way LeBron James go about things, it is going to be hard for him to own a basketball team because he don't he all he knows how to do is just to like use leverage and use people. He don't know how to like build relationships and build alliances that would allow him to be able to do some things, because a lot of what you need to do as far as business is concerned, business is about relationships, right? And so if you use people, if you get a reputation for using people and burning bridges and stuff like that, then it's going to be hard to advance in business, right? So everything that LeBron James, in my opinion, that he has accomplished throughout his career has been because he has had he's an excellent basketball player. So people, like that's his leverage for right now, and that's why LeBron James was able to bring he was able to get coaches removed from teams that he was on, because of his basketball, his basketball play, his play on the court. That's why LeBron James was able to get who's the guy that's the coach now for the Lakers? JJ Redick. He was able to get JJ Redick, the coach, because LeBron James is a star basketball player, and he's, you want to appease your star basketball player. The reason why LeBron James was able to get his son on the team, because again, his star power and what LeBron James means to the league, right? But the whole time that LeBron James has been in the league, you as a business person, you have to account for the fact that you are not always sitting in a position of power. And so when you're not sitting in a position of power, you got to set yourself up so you can leverage relationships. You can't always, sometimes you have to be able to finesse people sometimes, and then that's how you leverage your relationships. You can't always just strong on people. And so that throughout LeBron James' career, in my opinion, has been LeBron James, like his that's the way he operate. He used the leverage that he has to strong on people into giving him what he wants. And so now moving on to this next level with LeBron James wanting an NBA team, once LeBron James is out of the league, he won't be able to use that leverage. And same thing goes for clutch sports, right? His leverage as a basketball player, once he retires, he won't be able to use that to continue to get clients and clutch sports management represent them. Whereas though he should have been taking this his whole 20-year career, in my opinion, he should have been taking his whole 20-year career building relationships and thinking forward instead of taking advantage of his leverage. I thought that Michael Jordan really did that. He did a better job, in my opinion, than than LeBron James. Michael Jordan, he had business relationships, right? But LeBron James have really have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And so with that being said, I'm gonna play what Doug Gottlieb said because a lot of a lot of people already knew this. I've seen this play out plenty of times, especially in sports. Like they will all only these people will only put up with these athletes for as long as the athletes can do something for them. As long as the athletes are good and they get results on the court or on the field, whatever they play at, then people will put up with them. But as soon as you don't bring anything to the table, then that's when the wolves come out. That's when they want to come after you and they want to see you fall. And they want to see you. They just want to break you down because of how you treat people on the way up. That's just it's true in life. But we get to watch this in sports, and we get to watch it like in entertainment and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play Doug Gottlieb and what he had to say. And,
Chris. Of course, you got Iowa Sam and my man Jay Stu. Okay. So I think most people who watch and cover the NBA are familiar, and some people are not, that LeBron James has made it very, very clear he not only wants to own an NBA team, he wants to own a Vegas expansion team. Vegas expansion team. And many of you are driving along, you're sitting in your cubicle, you're listening to the DG show, maybe you're listening to us on the app, and you're like, yeah, I remember something about that. Okay, so I think, first of all, this meeting very easily could have happened in secret and no one knows about it. Why would somebody take a picture and then put it out on social media? Because they want you to know it's happening, right? That's inarguable. I don't have to talk to somebody in LeBron's camp or Jokic's camp to know that the reason it was out on social media is they want you to know it's happening. Why would they want you to know it's happening? Well, there's only two possible reasons. One, LeBron was told he's not getting a team, which is altogether possible, maybe even likely, because as deep as LeBron's pockets are, they're not that deep. They're not that deep. The LeBron being worth $1 billion, it sounds good. It's very likely to not be real because I'm sure a lot of it is tied up in Nike stock and in other stocks. Not that doesn't count in terms of your evaluation, but I think a lot of it is based upon his personal brand, his personal value, not how much actual cash he has or how many actual assets he has.
All right, so let me stop it right there, right? So Doug Gottlieb bring up a good point. Like, all right, so LeBron James they say on paper that LeBron James is a billionaire, right? So remember, the Lakers just sold for 10 billion. And so if LeBron James only have 1 billion, then so what does that mean? That means that LeBron James is going to have to bring in some investors. He's going to have partners, people with deep pockets who want to go into business with him. So like I was saying in the beginning, he's going to have to leverage those type of relationships in order for him to be able to move forward in the business world. But so and Doug Gottlieb, really that's what he's touching on right here is that LeBron James really going to have other relationships if he wants to own a team. And so that's where I think LeBron James hurt himself when it comes to being able to leverage relationships and build relationships and alliances that will carry him beyond his days on the court. And and like with Michael Jordan, like Michael Jordan, his strongest relationship to me is a relationship that he has with Phil Knight and Nike, right? For Nike, Michael Jordan still remains he is like a cash cow for Nike. So, you know, he can't, Michael Jordan can rely on the relationships and with Nike, and he can do certain things because Michael Jordan still brings value. And Phil Knight has connections and relationships with other people that he can, that he has connected Michael Jordan to. But I don't, you don't see that with LeBron James. Like he deals with Nike too, but I don't think that LeBron James has the same type of relationship with Nike that uh, Michael Jordan. And I know that he don't have the same value for Nike that Michael Jordan had, right? But let me go into, because Doug Gottlieb made a lot of good points that I want to that I want to touch on.
That those assets equal out to $1 billion. I remember NBA teams, we just watched the Lakers go for $10 billion.
Right.
Billion. So I know NBA players, and LeBron seems to be the richest of them, but that pales in comparison to the guys that are in the financial markets. Right. So there's one of only two possibles that I've come up with. Either one, he was told he's not getting a team, and this is his way of going, or two, he wants to leverage his way to getting a team. And the only way to get leverage is, if you don't give me this team, I'm going to go out and form this other league that's going to be in competition with you, with the hopes of ultimately getting a team that way. That's the only two possible solutions I can think of, or reasons I can think of, why LeBron would not only have this meeting. Having the meeting, you can take a meeting with anybody, but why do you want to take a picture of it? Why do you want people to know what it was about? Why do you want to know? Why do you want to include Nikola Jokic's agent in it? It's pretty obvious, right? That this is, I'm sure they're going to sell it as, this is our next step. This is what we do after we retire. Is we own NBA teams. We force expansion into Europe by putting together teams in Europe, and then ultimately they join the NBA. Or maybe it's because we make them pay us. We make them give us a seat at the table. Or maybe it's an FU. The issue with any league outside the NBA in comparison to golf is golfers, outside of their sponsorship money, if they don't play well on Thursday and Friday, they don't get paid. They don't get to hang around for Saturday and Sunday. Whereas NBA players, they're plenty well compensated. And oh yeah, by the way, that money is based upon TV deals. And a new league wouldn't have enough teams, nor would have the star power to have those big TV deals. And if the sale was, hey, we're going to launch with LeBron James, the problem is that by the time LeBron James's contract expires, say they start a new league and he is the centerpiece of it, he'll be 41 years old. And he'll be playing against rummies. And it will diminish all the things he did in the NBA.
Let me say that's an interesting concept though. He bring up, like, LeBron James wanting his own team and him trying to leverage like his celebrity to get to start another league to compete with the NBA, right? And that's why I said like his you want to. It's like if he tried to muscle the NBA, or try to not just muscle the NBA, but try to strong arm them into giving him a team by threatening to start his own league, that wouldn't work either. Because like Doug Gottlieb said, LeBron James would have to, he would have to be the face of the league. Then, you still have to have finance for that league. You would need TV contracts, like he said. And so all that kind of stuff, it comes from building relationships. It just wouldn't work. He don't have those type of relationships where as though he would be able to compete with the NBA. He wouldn't be able to get a TV deal. And so how could you possibly, like, if you LeBron James, how would you have been able to do something like this? And you have to build relationships. He was in the NBA for 20 years, played for 20 years. He just could have went about it and finessed. Like, you got to work your way up to, you just can't get some money one day, or you think you have enough money where so you think you can go out and do things. Business is about relationships. People think it's about oh, I need money. even if you have money and the owners don't want you to own a team, you won't own a team because you won't get that approval. If LeBron James had $10 billion in his pocket and he wanted to buy the Lakers, and the data, they still probably would not have sold uh they wouldn't have sold the Lakers to LeBron James. If they don't want LeBron James to own the Lakers, they're not going to sell it to him. They don't want you to be a part of that fraternity. So how do you get if you're LeBron James or if you any player, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, anybody who wants to own a team, you have to have a relationship with these people in order for you to be able to get into the door. Um, you know, And LeBron James, throughout his career, in my opinion, like I said, throughout his career, has been the kind of person that wants to try to leverage like power instead of finesse. And I saw that like when LeBron James was in Miami playing for the Heat. Uh, I thought that the way he managed that situation down in Miami, like with Pat Riley, you know, um, Eric Spoelstra. He wanted to have Eric Spoelstra removed as the coach, and Pat Riley just denied that right. But instead of LeBron James playing a long game, you know, uh, and trying to get along in that situation and trying to, just like there's a pecking order to things, right? And LeBron James have always felt like he didn't have to fall in line for nobody because he was LeBron James. But had LeBron James managed that situation in Miami differently, then I think that would have changed the whole outlook of his career. Once he made the decision to go to Miami, I thought that he should have stayed there. Then he would have been under the tutelage of Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, right? That would have gave him the opportunity to win more rings, and you develop he would have developed like more business skills, more life skills, because in life you just can't go through life just trying to strong on people because you have leverage. Once you no longer have leverage and you burnt all those bridges and you don't have those relationships, you miss that opportunity to build relationships. And now, so LeBron James, I think after LeBron James's playing career is over with, he's going to see that, like the league don't really have any more use for him. And then that's when, that wake up call comes, um, like even I always said it, like with Clutch Sports Management, they won't be able, it'll be on to the next person to be able to represent new players coming in. Michael Jordan, his agent, I think it's David Falk. He no longer represents. He was hot as long as he was Michael Jordan's agent, and Michael Jordan was in the league, and people want to be associated with Michael Jordan, David Falk, and Nike. They still have some pull. You know what I mean? Because they still have like Carmelo Anthony. What's the guy name? They still have, that Nike Jordan team, they still got some pull and they still have some veterans and stuff like that, right? But they don't have the pull and the leverage they did when Mike was in the league, is basically what I'm saying. And but they are benefiting though from the relationships that Mike Jordan has with Nike, with the relationships that David Falk have around the country, but LeBron James and this sports agency that Clutch Sports, they don't have they're basically running off of LeBron James' leverage as a basketball player. And then once he's off the court, that leverage will be gone, And so that's what I thought that the point that Doug Gottlieb made, that, LeBron James, every move he do, in my opinion, is just make is working against LeBron James's leverage. Is going to mess up his image and stuff, like, especially if he start another league and then he got to play in the league and then people see him play um, at a subpar level. It's just going to mess up his legacy. And so when you have opportunities to build your legacy and build relationships throughout your career, I think it was just a missed opportunity for LeBron. He only knows one way to he only knows one way to get ahead, and that's with like strong arm and leverage. Even his game, he don't really have any finesse to his game. As if you don't allow LeBron James to put his head down and bowl his way straight to the basket, you make him a jump shooter, then you're gonna have success against LeBron James because he only knows one way to win, not just on the basketball court, but in business too. It's just become evident. But those are my thoughts on it. I just think that Doug Gottlieb really hit the nail on the head though when he said that LeBron James is he won't be able to afford a basketball team. And so if you don't have money, you got to have relationships. And that's what big business is all about. That's what business is about anyway. It's about relationship. And so I think LeBron James missed the opportunity to build relationships. For 20 years, you had time to build these relationships. But now, and it won't be. And so, not that I want to see these things happen to LeBron James, but you'll see, I just think it's just a life lesson. When you had the opportunity to, you don't have to always use force. Sometimes you want to use finesse in order to because in the long run, finesse, um, you know, it builds stronger relationships. People they resent when you put them in a position where as though they are forced to do things. But sometimes people have loyalty when you finesse them, and you don't have to. You build relationships with finesse, stronger relationships, because people don't feel like their arm was twisted, so there's no resentment there, or a lot less resistance and resentment. So that's my take on LeBron James and him owning the league. I think it's going to be hard for LeBron James to get a basketball team. It'll be easy for him to start a league, but it won't be able to compete with the NBA. I don't even think if LeBron James started a league, I don't even think it'll be as successful as like the big three. He might have something like Unrivaled or something like that, but he won't have a league where as though, the NBA feel threatened to buy him to anything to that extent. But that's my take on LeBron James and him owning a team. It's going to be hard. It really is going to be hard for LeBron James. But with that being said, man, y'all make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video.